The Digiwaxx.
Fate of the world is in your hands.
All praises due to my brother. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing? How's everybody?
How's everybody doing?
We doing good. How you doing?
We good.
Tired.
It was good to have a legend in here.
Outstanding.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Glad to be on the call.
Yeah.
Lucky to get you, man. What you been working on, man? I know besides the album, I know you said you was doing rehearsals and working on stuff. What's been going down?
Yeah, we just been on the promo run right now for the album. Just dropped the album on the 4th. So we just been, you know how this shit go. You got to do your promos. So we're doing TV shows here, late night, daytime, morning shows, TV shows, radio. You know, the usual run that you got to do.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
How's it going?
It's going great. It's going great, man. It's definitely going great. You know, the two cats that's been in the game for a long time, and we doing a lot of press like this, it's actually unheard of. But the reception is great. Reception is great.
So let's just go right there. Like, what year did you first get into the game? You know,
1985.
How did it happen? Like, you know, what is your story and how did that story come about?
Yeah, 1985 when I first got in the game. Of course, we didn't know shit about the business back then. You know what I mean? You signed janky contracts, janky managers, and all of that. But I loved to do it. You know what I mean? But it wasn't even a money thing at that time. You just wanted to hear your record on the radio. That's all we wanted to hear at that. That's all we were striving for at that time. It wasn't even about money. We didn't even know that you can really make money from it. And it wasn't really a career at that time. Like Run DMC had came out in 83, then Houdini, and then LL in 85. So those are the first examples that we had of cats like actually starting to really make some money in this shit. So yeah, so 1985 is when I first stepped into this shit.
And obviously you were DJing. Was it with EPMD or like was it with a different group? What was the story?
This is way before EPMD. Yeah, it was shit. It was for a couple of cats, man, throughout the years. At first, I was just signed as a DJ. I was signed to Rush. I was the only DJ without a group that was signed to Rush Management at that time. You remember when everybody was rolling with Rush? I was signed to Rush Management. So Leo Cohen was my first manager, and he would send me out on tours, opening up for other Rush acts, just as a DJ. So that's what I was doing before EPMD.
Wow. And like what caught like thing? I mean, obviously was you battling around the way? You know, what caught their attention to be like, yo, we're gonna sign our first DJ? That's something that a lot of people don't know, number one. That's a major crazy feat and thing. To be down with Rush Management as a first DJ. That's crazy. How did they find you? Like how did that all happen?
It was one night at Irving Plaza. You know the spot Irving Plaza here in New York. Cash Money was performing. Cash Money and I wanted to battle him. I wanted to battle everybody. Like I was battling anybody and everybody at that time. So, you know, I heard about Cash and heard tapes of him and I'm like, all right, he's next. You know what I'm saying? So I went to Irving Plaza with my records, me and my boys, and went to the stage. I was like, yeah, I want to battle Cash. It was like, nah, you can't battle him. But if you're that ballsy to battle this dude, and he's super nice, you got to be good if you want to battle him. So I'll let you go in after him. So they actually let me go in after him. And after just through the years, you get 1,000 no's and then that one yes. So that was my one yes. So so after Cash finished DJing, he unplugged his mixer. I thought the mixer was the club's mixer. So he had like a little Gemini mixer. He unplugged this shit and left. So they put this big Newmark mixer, the big 19-inch club joint. Yeah, I didn't care about that because I was used to using a big mixer anyway. So anyway, the DJ they didn't want the music to stop. So when Cash finished, the DJ just blended in and started playing music. So they was like, yo, when it's time for you to go on, signal the DJ and just blend in whatever you're going to start. So once I signaled him, he turned the music off, but I didn't turn the music on because I wanted the crowd to, because if the music shuts off in a club, the first thing they're going to do is look at the DJ. So I just wanted to get everybody's attention. So once I got everybody's attention, then I started doing my thing, went crazy, the crowd losing it. And when I stepped off the stage, Leo and Russell Simmons was standing at the bottom of the stage. I didn't know who Leo was at that time, but I knew who Russell was. So they was like, yo, man, here's my card. Give me a call. Come see me tomorrow. You want to go on tour with Run DMC? Just like that. And I'm like, hell yeah. And he said, yo, you know, give me his card, told me to come see him the next day. And he held up to everything he said. 8 months later, I was on tour opening for Run DMC. 1987, 1988, opening up for Run DMC.
Dang, dope. And then what took place next?
Jam Master Jay, when I was on that tour, me and Jam Master Jay became real cool. And at the time I had a baby on the way. So I told him I had a baby on the way. And so one day we was in Germany and he was like, yo, we're going to an after party. What hotel you at? I'm like, I don't have a hotel. He's like, what do you mean you got a hotel? Where do you sleep at? I sleep on a tour bus. Like, well, where do you eat? So I eat at the venue. And I take showers in the venue bathrooms. He was like, shit. So I met him went to the party, and he was like, yo, come to my hotel when we get to the next country. So when we got to the next country, I went to his hotel. And when I got to his hotel, he got a double bed. So I can sleep in a bed. Like he just basically took me under his wing and shit. So he was like, yo, you shouldn't be, you know, he said, I went through that shit, but nobody else should have to go through that type of shit. So instead of him getting a king bed for himself, he would get a double bed so I could sleep in a bed. And then he would let me call back to New York every day until I found out my child was born. You know how much a phone call from Europe to New York back then? Shit, crazy. Like $5 a minute. But yeah, so after that, when we got off tour, like we toured all over Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Japan. And when we got back to New York, 3 days after we got back to New York off the tour, Jam Master Jay called me. And he said, yo, you want to go to EPMD show in Jersey? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yo, what's your address? I'm going to come get you. He drove to Brooklyn, came to my projects, picked me up, went to an EPMD show. And we noticed that their DJ wasn't there. And they had their bodyguard playing a reel on stage, just hitting start and stop. Or Eric and Parrish would do a song and finish and go to the table and hit start and stop on the tape. So after the show, Jay took me on the bus, on the tour bus, was like, yo, that tape shit y'all got, that reel, that shit is whack, man. You have to take my man Scratch on tour. He just won the seminar, just toured the whole world with me. And they was like, no, we don't want no more DJs. And at that time, I didn't know that they went through 2 DJs on their first 2 singles. So what's their first single? It's My Thing, they had a DJ. And then he was gone. And then the next single, You Got to Chill, they had Kayla Boss. And then he was gone. I didn't know why he was gone. So they were done with DJs at that moment. So that's why they told Jay no. But Jay told him, he said, look, just do a favor for me. Take them out for a week. And if you don't like them, send them home. And they couldn't say no to Jay because that same tour that I was on opening for Run DMC, EPMD was on the United States part of that tour, opening up for Run DMC. And Jay let EPMD sleep and ride on their tour bus. So they couldn't say no to him when he said that. So they took me out for a week. After the first show, and When they see me rock, they was like, yo. So Jay told him like, look, the first time they see you, they're never gonna let you go. And the first show I did with them, it was like, yo, you got to stay. You want to stay? And the rest was history.
Yeah, man, this is Jules right here, man. You know, it's
Rest in
amazing.
peace, Jam Master Jay.
Rest in peace, Jam Master Jay. Today is World DJ Day. On top of that, just amazing that these dots are so connected, and many people just would never know. You know, they would never know that took place. Last question I'm gonna ask you before we get into the album is about the other side of your DJing career, which is the battling. When did you first enter your first competition, and when did you first win your first competition?
The first competition, first Sanctum competition, because I was battling from like 11 years old.
Wait.
So
Talk to us about that. What was that like first?
Because that's shit. It was back then. It was life and death, man. Like the first time I went outside my neighborhood and battled. I'm from Brooklyn, so back then you didn't go to another neighborhood unless you had connections in that neighborhood. You know what I mean? But through music, me as a child, I didn't care about that because I was a kid. Like I figured that violence didn't apply to me because I was a kid, and this is music. So why would anybody be wanting to shoot you or anything or harm you over music? But you know, I hear like they jamming in Brownsville, so I go to Brownsville on my bicycle. And the first battle that I challenged the DJ, of course they're older than me, you know what I mean? So I got my records and shit, my knapsack, and I'm standing in front of them because that's what we did, you know what I mean? Stand in front of the DJ and get his attention. So after a while, like the DJ was looking, he's like, yo, what you fucking looking at, little man? So I'm like, I want to battle. So he laughed at me, his boys laughed at me because it's a little kid. And no kids were DJing back then, you know what I mean? So he was like, yo, fuck out of here. So I pulled my records out. When I pulled my records out, it was like, oh shit, he's serious. So now this is a block party. It's about 2,000 people on the block. So now they stop the music, like, yo, this little nigga want to battle. So now the whole block crowds around the DJ set. And they let me go first, of course, because I'm a little kid. And as soon as I got on the turntables, I just went the fuck off, just doing tricks. And the whole crowd going crazy. So now they stopped me. They was like, yo, you got it. Because he couldn't do what I did. He never even seen the shit that I was doing. So now everybody on this dude's block is patting me on my back like, yo, you nice, little man, you nice. But I noticed him and two of his boys weren't smiling. Everybody else was, you know, cheering, but these three dudes wasn't smiling. Next thing I heard, yo, fuck that, get that nigga. And then they started coming after me, and I took off running to the train station. So now I'm running, and then I look back and I see the whole block. Everybody's not trying to get me. They just trying to see if they're going to catch me. So I had to run to the train station. I'm hearing shots. They shooting at me. Ran to the train station. They didn't come up on the train station because I was going to run on the tracks down to the next station. So that was my first battle. And at that point, I'm like, okay, the next battle that I do, I gotta get a gun. And back then, just like now, it's so accessible to have a gun. But back then, I'm like 11-year-old kid having a gun, that was normal shit. Like, I need a hammer. So the next battle that I went to, I had my gun with me. Same approach. Went to the DJs, get his attention. Same thing over. Yo, he want to battle. Same thing. They let me go first. I embarrassed the dude on the turntables, but this time they embraced me. It's like, yo, little man, you nice. Yo, you need to show me this shit. So now I got an ally in this particular neighborhood in Brooklyn back in the early 80s. But that's what it was all the time. It was either you're going to make a friend or you're going to have a foe. So either and I won all of those battles in the street. I won every one of them. But some of them ended in shootouts, some of them ended in friendships. But that's what it was back then.
Say, did you acquire, and I ask this only because I've heard a couple of DJs say this from New York, but did you get your equipment during the blackout of, what was it, 70?
70,
Seems like everybody.
No, I was too little for that, but my brothers.
They got their equipment at that
did.
time. Like it's just like this.
Yeah, my older brothers, because I'm the fifth boy out of six boys. I'm the fifth born out of six boys. When the blackout happened, that was 1977. So when the blackout happened, you know, my brothers is coming home with all kind of shit. Like they raided Sam Goody. There was a store called Sam Goody and a store called The Wiz at that time, and they came home with mad shit, turntables, and back then it was rack systems. So it was like the turntable on top, the radio tuner, the cassette, the 8-track, and the amplifier.
Oh,
and, yeah, the cassette deck and the amplifier. So yeah, they was coming home with mad shit. So that's how a lot of people in the neighborhood got their first set of turntables because of the blackout. That's a fact.
Yeah, that always seems like that's something that is kind of a fact that doesn't get brought up. Like this, it's this underlying common denominator between DJs during that time is like everyone got their equipment from that blackout, man. So, but no, that's dope because I didn't, especially with the EPMD story. I thought Caleb Boss was around for at least 3 albums. No. I didn't know he was gone by the second single.
I was DJing. I joined EPMD on the 3rd single of their first album.
Oh, word. Okay, see, I thought you were there by 92. That's when I was thinking that you was that when you started producing for them? Was around 92?
Nah, I started producing for them in 89.
Oh, 89. Okay.
Yeah.
Dope. Yeah, man, I think this is like, you know, this is, like I said, some historic jewels up in here. A lot of people don't know. So I'm happy that you really just explain your story. It's almost like a superhero story.
No, shit. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm writing a book right now too. So
yeah, man, I can't wait.
Have you thought about turning that book into a movie? Because this would be a damn good movie.
Or yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But the book got to get done first. But once the book is done, then it would have to be like it can't even be a movie because it's like 40 years worth of shit. So it had to probably be like a 6-part series or something.
So let me just jump to back to where we're talking about the battling. So the street battling went down first, boom, earned your respect, and that's how it was. But then the first sanction battle, and when you know, what was your first sanction battle like? What was it? And then the first one you won.
The first sanction battle that I was in was at a skating rink called United Skates of America in Queens, New York. And I see that DNA is in here. DNA is in here. DNA asked you. I seen him. He was in the chat. But
he said yes.
But DNA, what's going on, bro? But yeah, so I entered this battle, and this is like 86, maybe 86, 87, and whoever won the battle get to go on tour. So you go on tour and DJ and perform at, because they had different locations across the country. So it was a chain, that skating rink brand. It was a chain across the country. So whoever won the battle gets to go on tour. So there was an MC battle and a DJ battle. So I won the DJ battle, and Super Lover C won the MC battle. So they took both of us out. We went out on tour as a group. Super Lover C had his DJ Casanova Rudd at that time as well, but and the crazy shit was who was in that? I think Kwame was in that battle, the MC battle. Father MC was in that battle. The DJ part, Grandmaster Vic was in that battle. And this is crazy shit. They said it was like the Apollo. The crowd judges the battle. It wasn't like judges, so the crowd judged. So I'm from Brooklyn. This shit is in Queens, so of course they voted for their hometown DJ. But I watched him. I watched him anyway, even though the crowd voted for him as the winner. But the owner of the spot, it was like, yo, Scratch, you clearly beat him. We know that's some home favorite shit, but you got the contract. So me and Super Lover C would go on tour and just tour all over the country and shit at those skating rinks. So one day, we about to go to the airport, and he was like, yo, I made a new joint. So he played it for me, and it was called Do the James. Joint that Paul C produced.
Hard.
Rest in peace, Paul.
Hard.
Rest in peace, Paul C.
Right.
Rest in peace, Paul C. And I introduced Super Lover C to DNA. So that's how he got his record deal from that day.
Man, that Super Love to See and Casanova Rudd album that shit is one of probably the most underrated records, period. So
yeah,
man,
that was on DNA's label.
I didn't know that, DNA, man. Shout out to you for putting that out there. I saw you put in the chat that you did a show with them, but I didn't know you put that album out, man. That shit was dope. It's funny because if people see the album cover of that shit, they'll look at it and be like, oh, this some sucker shit. But like that album is hard as fuck, man.
Nah, that's when light skin was in. So the chicks was loving them. They was loving them.
Oh man. No, that's dope, man. I guess we'll get into the project, man, because I mean, like I said, you've been in this for years. Humbly doing your thing, killing. And then boom. It almost felt like out of the blue. I feel like I knew about the album dropping maybe a week before it came out. But how did that come together? And please talk about the name and how y'all decided to call it that as well.
Well, how it came about was right when the pandemic was declared, like global pandemic. I think it was like around March 2020, and shit was haywire. And RZA had, he just gave me a call. He's one of the people in the industry that like we just call him, not even talk about music. You know what I mean? So he just called me to check on me, like, yo, how's your health? How's your mental health? Shit is crazy out there right now. So I'm like, nah, everything is good, but yeah, shit is crazy out there. So he was like, yo, man, I was going through my old hard drives and shit. He was like, yo, man, I found this beat that you submitted for us for the 8 Diagrams album. You still got that joint? And I'm like, yeah, I still got that shit. It's like, yo, man, I want to MC again. I'm doing all this film shit, but I want to get back to MCing. It's like, yo, you want to do a project together? You want to do an album together? I'm like, hell yeah. Like, who gonna say no to that? You know what I mean? So he said, yo, send that joint over. I'm like, yo, I got a whole album worth of Wu-Tang shit, Wu-Tang beats and shit. So he was like, yo, send them over. So I sent them shits over, and then like maybe 4 months later, he started sending me back vocals, because that's when we was shut down. Like everything, New York was shut down and all that. So he started sending me back vocals and was like, yo, whatever you need me to change or do, you know what I mean? Like I'm putting this whole shit in your hands. So whatever you need me to do, I'm gonna do it. And then we finished the album like maybe we finished the album in about 4 months. Yeah, in about 4 months and shit. So that's how it happened. So we decided to call the album Saturday Afternoon Kung Fu Theater, because that's what we used to do. I don't know if anybody in here used to watch Kung Fu Theater on Saturdays. In New York, it was Saturday channel 11. No, channel 5 at 3 p.m. We go. Nobody's outside at 3 o'clock on Saturday. The whole hood is a fucking like nobody's outside. And then when the movies is over, everybody come outside and start trying to fight kung fu. So we just wanted to bring back that feeling, and just musically and sonically with the beats. Like I just wanted me being a Wu-Tang fan. I don't want to hear no Wu-Tang member not rap over Wu-Tang type of shit. I'm a fan, you know what I'm saying? So I want to hear every Wu-Tang album. That shit gotta have some kung fu dialogue and that Wu-Tang sound. So I just wanted to just bring back that sound to this album. So you're hearing the kung fu dialogue, the soul samples, and shit like that. So it sounds like when you listen to it, it sounds like a album from like 95, 94, Wu-Tang shit. So that's why we came up with the title Saturday Afternoon Kung Fu Theater.
Dope. Yeah, I want to get into it, man. Let's play the video. Show everybody what's going on of Fate of the World.
Fate of the World.
Yeah, let's do that. Kermit, since he will definitely get to you. Go ahead, Scratch.
Yeah, and this joint, when I made this shit a while ago. Like I even gave Busta this beat a while ago, and but he didn't put it out. But this particular beat, the only sample in the beat is the vocals, and everything else I just started playing. Like sometimes when I'm making beats, I'll make a beat sampling, and then sometimes I'll just make a beat just playing instruments because I'm a musician too. So this particular joint, the drums I'm playing the drums live, the keys I'm playing live, the church organ I'm playing live, and the bass I'm playing live.
Crazy. All right, let's go to it. Listen, man. We was talking about it earlier. I mean, listen, man. RZA saying some shit on there.
Absolutely.
RZA
Absolutely dropping jewels.
Messages. I love the fact that, yeah, man, it's going right at your head the right way. It's what's needed right now, man. The balance back to hip hop in terms of it being also knowledge of self, knowledge of science, understanding the world perspective, bringing everybody
knowledge,
together.
wisdom, understanding.
All of that.
Wisdom, understanding, man.
That's where
Peace
we at.
God's and nerves.
It's a beautiful thing. Shout out to you for that. One thing you said though messed my head up, man. You said you played the organ, the keys, the drums all live on it. How many instruments do you play?
I play the drums, I play the keys, like everything that I play the drums, the keys, and shit. I used to play trumpet, but I can't even fucking get a note out of that shit now. But yeah.
Don't forget he played the bass line too, CL.
And played the bass on it too.
Man, this is crazy, man. This is what's up, man.
Yeah, a couple of joints on the album is just shit that I played all live instruments. Not to avoid samples, because there's still samples on here and shit as well. But sometimes shit just feel good that way. You know what I mean?
Hey,
so
can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I first of all, thank you for what you're doing for the culture, sir. Thank you for putting your game down and letting us spend some time with you and pick your brain with some of this knowledge you've been providing. But my name is DJ Hairrush. I'm out of Midwest, representative of Strong Side Radio, and of course part of the Digiwaxx family and Mixaholic Mondays and everything. Next Level DJ as well, family. So really quick, as a drummer, I heard that ride symbol you were using, and I appreciate the articulation you put on there. But what effect did you put on those drums to give it that funky cut to where that ride symbol didn't bleed through? It stopped like right where you wanted it to. How did you do that? Man, you got to. There's a feature in the MPC, because I did the whole album inside the MPC as well for 8 producers in here, vocals, everything was done inside the MPC. So there's a feature called Mother Ducker, and you put it on there, and it'll duck down. You know, certain things clash all at the same time. Yes,
and it's hard to separate them. So with that plugin, it'll duck it when it's time for the snare to shine, and you know what I mean. So I just use that plugin. So basically, it clips itself. Right. But that's funky right there. But to the EQ part of it, making it pop, is my needs. 1073.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, that's funky right there. Man. You put it down on there, man, and the way the organ just kind of laid across those chords. You wasn't too much, wasn't too less. It was just right, you know. So yeah, you definitely
Yeah,
put your
because
game down on that production.
I produced the whole album, mixed and mastered the whole album. So
Good job there. Thank you.
Dope stuff.
thank you.
Kermit, I know you've had your hand up for a while. Please feel free.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm used to being ignored by young folks. Anyway, yeah, obviously, he is amazing. I actually think I met him. Well, not met him, but I was at his thing when he won the new music seminar. I think it was like 80 something, 88 or something.
88.
And yeah, I was there. Salute to you for that. You know, you probably weren't here earlier, but anyway, I'm 49 years in music and entertainment business. You know, I heard you mention, you know, different names. Russell Simmons, of course, I know him, and Andre Harrell. I actually knew them before Def Jam when they had Rush Communications, and Andre was the vice president. I used to communicate with him all the time, Andre Harrell. And you know, I just keep hearing these names. You know, for me being in the game so long, you know, it just excite me. Salute to CL for getting legends like you on here, because I really get excited when I see people that's really at the beginning of the game. Matter of fact, I'm trying to think of the guy's name. Is it Grand Wizard Theodore that was the first guy to scratch?
The Grand Wizard Theodore? Yep.
You know, like salute to people like him, you know, that provided that avenue or opened that door for you guys to come in and just take over like crazy with that, you know, stuff.
Absolutely.
And you know, so just basically salute to you. I sent you a message on Instagram, you know, from both of my accounts. I have one ECMD experience, and the other one says the Superstar Maker. Hopefully, we can get you on our ECMD call one day because I love talking to legends. I actually had an in-store one day with Curtis Blow, Von Mason, and crew. It was when Sugar Hill Gang was on tour back in the day, and I actually got a Sugar Hill Gang 45 record before they had it on 45. So I would just love to, you know, have you on the show, and that's it. Thanks, CL. That's about it. I just want to let him know there's some old folks on here that's even older than him. You know, that's on this call. You know, I come from retail, by the way, but I've gotten over 200 gold and platinum records, including some of the people that you mentioned. You know, when you were talking earlier.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I see you stunting with your picture and shit.
yeah, I had changed that because the guy on earlier mentioned Rick Ross' name, so I put that up. But I also have a Death Row 100 million soul. You know, and actually, if you do like, I can actually put on my profile that I've been involved with over a billion records sold worldwide because I got the 100 million sold Death Row. We got the 100 million sold on Rihanna. You know, so if you keep adding that stuff up, I'm sure I got the 1 billion. I'm involved with over 1 billion.
If I was at my studio, we'd have a plaque battle on this motherfucker right now.
Which plaque you say?
I said if I was at my studio, we'd have a plaque battle.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you.
Who got the most plaques?
Well, I have over 200. I don't have the exact count, but it's over 200. You know, so
Yeah,
salute to you and thanks CL again.
Salute. Thank you.
No doubt. Sincere, go ahead.
I just need to do this while we're on here. So DJ Scratch, back in April 2020, you made a post and you gave away money to DJs and you saved some people's homes and you saved some people's stuff and you motivated Envy to do the post and do that DJ thing. And you motivated me to give away half of my paycheck for an entire year to DJs. And I just want to say thank you and give you your flowers publicly, because I know that, you know, a lot of people kind of, we forgetting about the COVID and I get it, I understand, but I want to thank you so much for motivating me and looking out for some of my DJs and just thank you. And I hope you continue with all the blessings and the verses and everything else. And just thank you so much.
Thank you very much, man. That was critical at that time. And you know, we're not gonna say any names, but one DJ was saying, don't give DJs Cash App. And I'm like, you can't do that. You know, if you're not gonna help people, don't tell people that they shouldn't ask for money when they're desperate in desperate times. So I just wanted to create a way where, because I can't give money to everybody in my follow, you know, all of my followers, but I wanted to create a way where people that can help, and you were one of them. So I appreciate you for doing that, because that shit was critical, man. Like I got a couple of DMs because we raised $106,000 that week, and just gave every DJ $500 a piece until the 106,000 was gone. And salute to DJ Khaled for donating 50,000 of that. But yeah, I was getting DMs from people like, it was like, yo, I didn't have food in the house. I'm about to lose my crib, and a lot of them, and all of them were heartbroken at the DJ, saying, don't give Cash App to no DJs. They were heartbroken because it's like, yo, damn, we look up to this dude. He's actually telling people not to help us, and we're starving right now. We're about to lose our homes. People in the house with children with no food. So I just thought I had to do something to try to help. And then Envy asked, how can he help? And I told him how he can help, and we put a big event together and raise some money. Just try to do our part, you know.
Scratch, and I mean, just to piggyback off of that, was that where at least kind of the riff started with Kid Capri?
Yeah, I guess so, because he didn't like that somebody, told him that was wrong. Don't do that, But I guess that's where it started.
I watched that whole thing unfold, and it broke my heart because so many of my DJs were out of work instantaneously and without warning. And you used your platform so incredibly, and then you motivated other people like Envy. I remember him reaching out to you, and I remember us in DMs, and I was like, yo, like, if you can do it, I can do it. And then you never embarrassed any of the DJs that asked for help. And you never really, you did it in such a graceful way. And you led by such a huge example that I just want to thank you. And you led me to do the same thing, and others, like making a magazine. And I just, again, I thank you so much for that. It really meant a lot. You touched a lot of my DJs' lives for that.
Yeah, we got to help, man. And, it's basically like this. If you're not going to help somebody that's starving, that's desperate, just shut the fuck up. Just as simple as that. If you're not going to help, just chill, you know what I mean? And let people, and even if you don't want to help people, just
right.
Don't influence people not to help, because then you're hurting people. You can't put your ego in it. You can't have any of that, involved in it. Like, people are in a desperate place. We were all in a desperate place. All of us were locked in and not working. And some people, that weekly party that they do pays their bills. That's how they eat. So how dare I fucking tell people that they shouldn't donate money to you? I would never do that. So thank God that everybody, everybody helped and donated money and helped those people in that situation, because it was real bad.
No doubt about it, man. Really rough, shocking time at that time. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, for DJs, it's a different story. Weekly, you sort of depend on, those gigs just to do what you do. And when that all comes and stops, I mean, that's just crazy.
We all got, but nobody was prepared for that. Nobody knew that was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And some I'm fortunate to have enough money to hold me through those times. You know what I'm saying? But most people didn't. So if you're not gonna help, just chill, because don't influence people to not help people, because you're just hurting people. Your opinion doesn't matter. Your opinion doesn't matter if you're not trying to help somebody that's starving right now or just desperate.
Salute. DJ Sweets.
What up, Scratch? Salute.
Peace.
The song is dope, man. Definitely dope. Two-part question. The first part is, how did the collaboration between you and RZA come about to start putting out this great music? And second, I heard you mention earlier that you used to open up for Run DMC. Is that where you got your inspiration for your Sucker MCs, Take Off Your Shoes DJ routine?
No, I was doing that way before then. I was doing that routine way before I started touring on Run DMC. And how the album became, I explained that earlier. I think you probably just jumped on the call and you missed it. But yeah, RZA just gave me a call just to check on me in the beginning of the pandemic, just to see, check, make sure my health was good, my mental health was good, and he was like, he was going through his hard drives and found the beat that I submitted to the last Wu-Tang album, to the 8 Diagrams album. And I'm like, yo, I got a bunch of that shit. I got a bunch of Wu shit. He was like, yeah, send that shit. I want to do an album. Let's do an album together. And that was it. That's how it started.
That's what's up.
Somebody else raise their hand?
Yeah, Head Rush, you want to say something else? And then Boogie. Or Boogie, you want to go ahead?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get out the way. But this popped up when I was thinking about you battling as an 11-year-old, and the fact that you came up in an era where you didn't have YouTube University to learn how to scratch. So my thing is how did you pick up that concept at such a young age with very little direction to work with? And the other part of that question is, once you found out how to do the technique, because everything starts off with proper technique, and then you build finesse. How did you build the finesse in your flow? Like, when I say flow, you start off baby scratch, military scratch, whatever it is, or maybe you phase people on your open up. But how did you build a flow where every technique just kind of ran together? How did you do that at such a young age with little guidance? People trying to knock your head off for beating them like that,
Yeah, well, just I learned the basics of DJing just by watching my brothers. Remember, I'm an 11-year-old kid. My brother was not letting me get on his turntable. So when he leave the house, I get on his shit. As getting your older brother shit. That's what we do as little brothers. But once I learned the basics, and one day he actually caught me on his turntables and went upside my head and shit. And then the next time he came in and caught me again, he didn't jump on me. He actually watched and was like, shit, this nigga can really DJ, And then he would let me DJ. But the answer to your question, this is the crazy shit. I got my ideas, but all of it really is just having a vivid imagination. I ain't have no motherfucking toys. We couldn't afford toys. You know what I'm saying? So we just had a vivid imaginations. Like, I would watch those kung fu movies. That's how I was learning how to DJ on these turntables, by watching those movies. Because by watching those movies, we would try everything that in the movie. We would try every fucking thing. Try to jump into a tree. You can't jump fucking high like in the movies, but we would try everything that they would do in those movies. So what I did start learning was about 75% of the shit that you see in them kung fu movies is actually real. It's actually real discipline. So, for example, 36 Chambers of Shaolin, when all of the students, the monk students will walk up the steps and carry the buckets of water on their arm. They had to hold the water up, and they had daggers strapped to their biceps. And if they drop the water, it's gonna stab them. So it made them walk up and build their arm strength. So I took that idea, because my brother's turntables, they weren't turntables that was made to scratch on back then. They were little Technics B101s,
belt drives.
Yeah, belt drive. When the record gets to the end, the needle automatically picks up and goes back to the beginning. And sets it back. So you couldn't really scratch on them shit. So I wanted to figure out how I can develop my hands to be lighter and faster. And that idea came from watching the Kung Fu movies, watching 36 Chambers of Shaolin, watching Master Killer. So I got some 5-pound ankle weights and put them on my wrist, and I would practice DJing every day for like 5 months. And once I finally took them shits off, I was able to scratch on them. I was able to scratch on those whack turntables without the needle jumping. And from that point to this day, that if you see me doing video, if you ever see a video of me cutting 45s and needle dropping records and shit like that, that's from studying and watching the movies and shit and just learning that discipline. So now it's just muscle memory. but it's from watching them kung fu movies.
That's dope,
Yeah.
man.
But
That's dope.
And then, you know, as an adult, you know, like I used to box. So as training boxing, you know, your trainer will put a weight vest on you and put ankle weights on and make you jog and all of this shit, make you practice, make you do, you know what I mean? So all of that shit develop speed and touch, speed and light hands and touch and all of that shit. So I figured that shit out by watching kung fu movies like about a decade before that. So all of those things actually work. Those disciplines work.
What's up? Right on, right on. All right, I'll mute my mic. Thank you again. Appreciate it.
P Gutter, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, just let me say real fast, man. It's an honor to be on this call with you, Scratch, man. I was introduced to you through Busta Rhymes. Like before Busta Rhymes, you know, introduced you like as a producer. So I became a fan of your production, and through being a fan of your production is how I found out you was actually, you know, say like a phenomenal DJ. So it's like to hear this interview to you to talk about your DJ beginnings, you know, it's giving me even more insight, you know, of just how, you know, important you are, you know, to the culture. So thanks. I'm just so happy you're on the call. So I'll get to my question. No problem, man. I'm glad you're getting your flowers right now, bro. So really what my question is, so many of this generation, we all get introduced to these producers who were also, before they were producers, they were DJs. So even me personally, like I have a new song out right now that's being promoted by Digiwaxx. It's called Money Talks with Jadakiss, but it was produced by Static Selector, who's also a DJ. And I just find that common denominator so many times. Like, why do you think, or you might even know, why is that such like a natural progression for a DJ to become a producer? And what was your transition from DJ to producer?
Yeah, that's definitely the natural progression, because you're already dealing with music. When you're DJing, you playing music, you might be playing breaks and shit like that, and you might find a drum break and you keep catching that drum break. That's the natural progression. So you're actually producing when you're on the turntables catching breaks. So that's the natural progression of producing. And what was it? What was the other part of your question?
So I wanted to know, for you personally, going from DJ to producer.
Oh, for me,
what was your transition? Yeah, like what was your first record that you transitioned from DJ to also being producer?
Okay, yeah. When I first started producing, the first record I produced was in 1983. Back then, I didn't know what the term producer was. I didn't know what a producer was. Back then, the DJ was always responsible for the music, period. So whether it's a party or a jam in the park, or if you're in the studio cutting a demo, the DJ was always responsible for making the beat by default. I didn't know what a producer was at that time. And I'll tell you a quick crazy story. All of EPMD's first 4 albums were produced by us, because EPMD thought that we're supposed to make our own music as a group. Know that you hired producers to produce your records. So wow. we learned how to produce by default. And Parrish from EPMD was also a DJ as well. He had a record out before EPMD. He used to be down with the Rock Squad. If you could pull that up on YouTube or on Google, and you'll see Parrish. You see 4 dudes on the record cover, and Parrish is holding a 1200 in his hand. DJ Easy P. Okay. So he was a DJ as well. But so I didn't learn what the term of producer was until like maybe 19 whenever Bismarcky came out. No, when MC Shan came out, 1986. Okay. That's when I learned the term producer. But I didn't know that, I didn't know that you hired producers. But as a DJ, I was a producer by default. So it was, I always had to make the beat anytime we did anything. So.
And I usually find, like, after doing my research, it's like almost like the better DJ that they are is like the more, more elite producer that they become. But you just show like what those techniques are, and what the similarities are, why, if they're a really good DJ, why they become such a good producer.
Yeah, it's a fact, because the DJs that are producers are better producers, because we're already dealing with records before, like, for example, I got like about 50,000 albums in my crib that have nothing to do with me DJing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just shit of me buying to make beats with. And then I got another 50,000, 100,000 of records that I DJed with throughout the years. So
Man,
I already have it. So DJs already have an advantage with music, because we're already dealing with the music. A producer that doesn't have a record collection, they don't have the knowledge that we have.
mm-hmm.
They haven't heard the records that we got, and they don't have the records that we got. So the DJ is always a better producer than a producer that's not a DJ, because we already hands on already with it.
So I'm just say this one thing. I want to take over the interview. So I've been fortunate enough to work with 88 Keys. So it's like I've been to his house and I've seen his record collection.
Incredible producer.
Yeah, right. So like you said, but like his record collection is legendary. So it speaks exactly like to what you said. His arsenal is like infinite. and he actually loves like crate digging and like digging for vinyl almost as much as he likes producing. So you're right on target, man. I'm gonna step back away, but bro, it was an honor being able to be with you on the call, and like I said, salute to you, brother. I'm a big fan.
Boogie, go ahead, Boog.
Yo, what's going on, Scratch? Can you hear me?
Yep. I'm washing my hands. Go ahead,
DJ Boogie out of Virginia. Man, Head Rush took my question because I started young too, and I was curious of where your influence came from as well. So, and 36 Chambers is one of my most favorite movies of all time. So I understand what you were saying in regards. All I'm gonna say, man, I'm gonna give you your flowers where it is due. One thing I learned from your story, it's all about hard work and networking. And so all I ask is to network with you.
Network.
Yeah, I sent you a message in IG. I hope we can connect, man. I look forward to meeting you in person for real. And it's been an honor being on this call with you.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I say that all the time. You got to network to build your network. I say that all the time.
Yes, sir.
You got to network to build your network.
My brother.
Quantum, go ahead, Quantum.
Yeah, man, real quick, because I'm got to get up out of here too, and I don't want to, but it was kind of touched on a moment ago, but I wanted to ask, how did the connection with Busta Rhymes happen? Did that happen during the new Leaders of the New School days? Was that around strictly around the first album for Busta Rhymes? Like, how did that relationship happen for you to start producing for them in Flip Mode Squad?
Yeah, well, Busta, Leaders of the New School was also managed by Rush and Tribe Called Quest at that time. And, I was a Rush management DJ. So that's how I first met them. And the connection with me and him, I went to Rampage house one day to play Rampage a beat, because I ran into him. He's like, yo, I'm working on my album. Can you, bring some beats and shit? So I went to his crib. And with me, and I'm like this all the time with anybody that I ever produced. A lot of artists, a lot of producers, when they play beats for artists, they come to the studio 30, 40 beats. You know what I'm saying? Am I on the camera? Hold on.
It's black. Oh, no, you there now.
Okay. Yeah, they come to the studio with 30, 40 beats. I never do that. Like, I can't do that. And just by me being a DJ, like I was saying with the gentleman earlier, the last question, as a DJ and me DJing in the clubs and shit like that, that's the advantage that we have as producers, because I know what's gonna bang in the club more than somebody that's just a producer and not a DJ. So so I went to Ramp's crib with one beat, because this is the beat that I felt that he should have. I hate playing a bunch of beats for artists. I hate doing that. I don't do that. So when I went to his crib, Busta was there. So I played the beat from Rampage. He didn't like the beat. So Busta was like, yo, can I have that shit? I'm like, what you gonna do with it? Like, cause at that time he had just got kicked out of his group. He got voted out of Leaders of the New School. So I knew he was out, you know, he didn't have, you know what I mean? He wasn't gonna make no record anytime. So I'm like, what you gonna do with it? He's like, yo, he said, yo, I'm out the group, but I'm still signed to Elektra Records. And I'm gonna start working on a solo album. So I was like, all right, fuck it, you can have it. And then maybe like a year later, no, not even a year later, about 4 months later, he called me to come to the studio and lay it. And that song was Do My Thing on his first album. So that's how we connected, through a beat that somebody else didn't want.
That Do My Thing.
You know,
no, go ahead.
Yeah, so you know, after that, you know, 8 platinum albums and gold and platinum singles and shit, Grammy nominations.
Does he really have another album on the way after just dropping that LE 2?
Busta has over 2,000 unreleased songs. Jesus.
Okay. Question answered. But no, man, what you did on the first album, and there's also like a B-side track, I think it was featuring Brownstone, called Live to Regret. I hate that was never on there too, man, because that shit was nasty as well, man. But yo, it was good talking with you, man, because this is the type of shit I like. I like getting the history and shit, man. And CL, Raymond, yo, man, shout out to y'all, because I know we were supposed to have somebody else on here, but this was an excellent, between DJ Scratch and Tony Touch, this was an excellent sub. This is the type of shit I like, man. Stay out. Stay good, man.
No doubt. Live the Regret. Live the Regret. Live the Regret. We have a platinum plaque for that. Live the Regret is on the Set It Off soundtrack. Set It Off.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. It is on the soundtrack. That's right.
Yeah.
Swerve, you still there, Swerve?
Yeah, man. Yo, Scratch, what up, Gid?
Peace. What's going on?
It's funny that because I hit Big Said last night and talking you get you on a platform and a few others too. If he spoke to you, it was me that was.
Yeah, he reached out.
Yeah. And then I spoke to CL earlier today, so that's funny that, you know, but that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for coming on. And I've been around you plenty of times, but yeah, I know one of the things you mentioned about, and as I was telling the group earlier, that we was talking about some production, and then it was mentioned, you know, I told them that, you know, you did of this album with RZA on the MPC-X, which I also own, and a few others. And I think it was shared in one of the MPC groups on Facebook, and somebody said that, oh yeah, Scratch did the mixing, what you just explained earlier about the whole mixing and doing the whole project through there and everything. And I know when I first heard Fate of the World, I know that was on Back on My Bullshit mixtape.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was that 09, right? I think it was around 09. But
2012.
I remember that. I was 12? Okay.
Yeah,
but I was like, wait a minute. Now, when I first heard, I said, wait a minute. I know this joint because I'm a big fan of Busta, so I got all his shit. So definitely know all your work that you did with him. So as soon as that's the Fate of the World, and I was like, yeah, that was from Back on My Bullshit.
Back on My Bullshit mixtape.
But you know what I'm saying? You already explained, you know, how it may come about with that. But great work. Always loved your production and stuff like that. But you know, definitely, you know, sound like, huh?
Your phone was breaking up.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, I'm in bad service. But thank you for coming on, and I'll be connected with you to get you on some other platforms if it's all good. All right, peace.
No doubt. Peace.
I will say they almost got Swerve in that Matrix, boy. So yeah, I don't know if anybody else got anything else they want to say, man.
Yeah, I see somebody got their hand up.
Raymond's got his hand up, CL.
Oh, yeah, Raymond.
Yeah. Hey, Swerve, I just want to, on some respect level for the DJ, man. I mean, I just so much respect for everything you've done for the game and everything you've done for hip hop. I did have some questions regarding the verses moving forward, man, because I love the fact that y'all have been incorporating that since you and Kid started, got that going and shit like that. So, is that going to be a part of everything moving forward?
Which part?
How you been bringing the DJs out before the artists get down in the verses?
Oh yeah, that's actually a DJ competition. So it's like like the Final Four college basketball tournament. So it's like that. So it's like I think it's like 16 DJs, and whoever wins, and once we get down to the last two, whoever wins the battle wins a $1 million contract with Trilla.
Yo, I'm glad Raymond said that because that was another question. Have you been seeing the response to the contestants on the verses for the DJ battle?
No.
Okay, so a lot of people will kind of wonder, like, how did this person get here? So how do y'all vet who's gonna be a part of this 16?
Well, actually, the people that you're seeing up there, everybody had to submit a video, and they're actually dope. It's just when you get on that stage, motherfuckers get nervous. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's what it is. Everybody's not a competition, a competitive DJ. And a lot of these DJs never even been on a stage before. They just dope. Some DJs is just dope as fuck, but they're bedroom DJs or whatever. And once they get on that stage, and even the ones that are experienced DJs and experienced battle DJs, they get on that stage and shit, it get different. That stage is different.
Hold up.
Because they're knowing like the whole world is watching that shit. So like the people that are at the venue, you might have like a few thousand people there that they're DJing in front of, but there's a million people watching online. So cats get nervous.
Yeah, knees get weak when you get in front of a lot of people. I understand that. I know what that feels like.
But, there's people right now that people like iconic actors and athletes and artists, they throw up before they have to go on stage because they're nervous. You know what I mean?
Willie.
So it's
you got that Willie Beeman. You got that Willie Beeman reaction.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what it is. It's like, unfortunately, they're not performing like how they perform on that audition. But shit, that's a part of the game.
So how many times were you able to set up the tables to run around it and DJ from the other side before you pulled it off on stage?
Just one time. I never practiced that routine before I did it.
That's crazy. I was gonna ask. Wait, Raymond, go ahead, ask your question. I wanted to ask one final question. All right, I'll ask my question because I feel like, you're working on a book, right? You've seen so much in life, not just music, but in life, through the eyes of a DJ, being a DJ. What else is there that you want to do? Like, is there something else that you want to accomplish? If so, what is it?
Honestly, man, no, not really. The things I wanted to accomplish, I was blessed enough to accomplish them. So now, at this point, man, in my career, I'm 53 years old, man. I've been in this shit since like 1985. I don't know what that math is, 32, 35 years, I don't know. But at this point right now, I'm just enjoying life now, man. Like, it's a blessing to still get booked from shit that you did 30 years ago. It's like I'm making more money now than in my heyday because of just being celebrated by people. You know what I mean? The things but everything that I wanted to actually achieve, I've achieved it. The last thing that that I worked on that I wanted to achieve was building Scratch Vision. That was something that I wanted to achieve, and I did that. So right now with Scratch Vision, I'm just growing as the technology, as much as the technology allows. But yeah, that's really it, man. Like shit, made millions of dollars. Survived through all of the, survived the shootouts and the fights and all of that shit through the 90s and the 80s. And so yeah, just enjoying life right now, man. Like this album with me and RZA, it's not about, it's no pressure from a label. There's no we're not trying to get in the clubs or anything like that. It's about just making good music for the people that grew up with us through all these years. So yeah, so the answer to your question is like, yeah, I achieved everything that I tried to achieve. So now it's just to maintain and spread the knowledge to the people that's coming behind us, because that's the most important thing right now. Like a lot of cats, the OGs in the beginning, the pioneers, they didn't want to share the knowledge with us. They didn't want to share the knowledge. The cats in the Bronx, most of them, they didn't want to share that knowledge. And I say this all the time. If hip hop stayed in the Bronx where they wanted it to, hip hop would have died in the Bronx before 1986. You know what I'm saying? So it's up to us to spread the knowledge to the next generation. Because if we don't, when we're gone, when our generation is gone, this whole shit is over.
Word, and I would love to carry off on that point a little bit, just because we talk about the newer generation, and you brought up bedroom DJs and that type of stuff, because we see some kind of cool shit on TikTok and everything like that, but I don't think we see much turntablism. You know what I mean? And and I keep up with your Scratch Vision. I keep up with the stuff you do on your platforms, on the online and everything. And I never see you go too heavy like on the MP pads and all that type of stuff that's on a lot of these mixers. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to know like your feelings on some of the stuff that people are doing, because it sounds dope, but it don't seem that DJ like technical. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it those features are dope because it brings, now you can bring a producer side to to your DJ sets. But me personally, I don't care about it, because what the places I'm DJing, the crowd don't give a fuck about any of that. They're coming to the party to let off steam. Somebody broke up with their mate. They're coming to have a good time. Somebody coming to celebrate. Nobody's really caring about that you hitting pads and shit like that. Nobody cares about that. They want to hear their music, they want to dance, they want to sing, and they want to go home. But the only people that really care about that when you're DJing in a room full of DJs, they're the ones that really like and understand what you're doing, as far as like what's one of the features in Serato and those mixes, like looping and shit like that. Those are things that DJs appreciate and understand. But when you're in a club, they don't care about that shit.
No doubt, man. Like I said, much respect. Salute to DJ. I'm actually fucking setting up for we're about to get down with a little event out here outside for college. So but much respect, G. Like I said, and we're gonna keep watching you push everything forward, man. I think about like what they pulled off at the Super Bowl, like what hip hop with the stage. Seeing you and RZA on GMA was just amazing again here, promoting the record, man. So I just love the looks that hip hop just continues to get, man. And I know it's in large part to everything y'all just laying the groundwork, man. So nothing but respect, man. So big salute.
Thank you. Salute.
So okay. Queen Sweets real quick, and then we gotta go because we've been on for a while. No Scratch got things to do as well. But go ahead, Queen, and then Sweets.
I just want to say salute to DJ Scratch. My name is Queen. I go by DJ Queen B. I'm here out of Hartford, Connecticut. I am the house DJ at Paradise in Hartford, Connecticut. And I just want to say kudos to you. Great interview, and just keep going. Keep doing great things.
Thank you. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it.
Dope. Sweets.
Yeah, I just had to salute you one last time, Scratch, when you mentioned earlier about practicing on the turntable with the the handle, because I still got mine. I still got my Lloyd's in the crib. And I learned as an 8-year-old with the direct drive that if I wanted to scratch, I'd have to kill the power, and then I could cut and scratch and transform, and it drove my family crazy. So it's interesting to hear other stories. We all went through the same thing. We was probably 50 blocks away from each other. I was on St. Mark's down by Flatbush. I know you was up by Albany. We're a few years different, but it's almost like the same journey. You know what I mean?
Scratch, my bad. I muted you by accident. That's my bad. I wanted to mute myself and I muted you by accident. Wait, just unmute real quick. Let's play. There you go. Go ahead, my bad.
You can hear me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Anybody else had their hands up?
Yeah, Sweet was just bigging you up. Sweet, say that one more time.
She didn't hear me.
No.
Sweet. Sweets, thank you and greatly appreciated. Hartford, Connecticut, right?
No, wait, that was
Nah, that's Queen B. That's DJ Queen B.
Queen B. Oh, Queen B.
I mean, Sweet said something about he was showing the Brooklyn love.
Yeah, I was showing you. I had the Lloyd's, but I had the Lloyd's, the same turntable. If you look in the thing, and it's interesting because I learned at 8 years old, if I just killed the power, then I could kill the whole belt drive thing, and I could cut and scratch. So it's amazing how DJs from that era kind of had I still got this in grandma's living room too. So a collector's item right there.
Yeah, that's what's up. Shit, they had the Lloyd's turntable also inside the. You remember the joint where it was one whole unit? It was the TV. It was the TV. It was like a dresser, and the TV was in the middle.
That's what I got.
It was on top.
Yeah,
open the joint.
Yeah, that's the same one we got. This was a turntable that sat on top. The TV was on the bottom. The speakers was on the side. You could lift the top up. You could store the extra 45s on the side. Yeah.
On the side, absolutely. That's the joint.
Gotta go
That's
back.
The joint.
Nah, man. But listen, man, this has been beyond amazing. There's a piece of history in here that's just can't deny. I think everybody's saying the same thing, man. It's just great to see you. One thing I can attach to your name is quality. You know what I mean? I remember one time I was with LL, right? And we went to LL did this show out in Brooklyn, Barclays or whatever. Cannabis. This was like first time him and Cannabis was like patched up their beef, and Cannabis came out, and he brought out EPMD, and it has some other DJ trying to. I don't know what the hell was going on, bro, but I remember hitting you up like, this shit is unacceptable. Like, this is unacceptable, bro. You just can't, you cannot, if you can't do Rampage, dog, just don't, stop. And that's the one thing I heard about that. I was terrible, bro. I was like, there's no replacing you. That's how you know you the truth. There's no replacing. So, yeah, man, thank you for joining, man. Big up again. And
thank you,
man. We're gonna support, I'm gonna tell you now, we're gonna support the project. We're gonna play that joint. I'm doing a new Digiwaxx radio playlist. I'm gonna put it on there for sure. At least 2 or 3 joints. And
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. And then we gotta get into the scratch verse, man. We gotta get the metaverse thing going, because that is just a whole nother world of fans and people. That
I'm working on something right now, man. Working on some shit right now. Wow.
I love it, man. When you said that, you just want to use Scratch Vision with the technology, that was one of the first things that popped in my head. And I also think, consider NFT in your routines and licensing them out to video games and these other platforms, because you
working on that too.
Okay, good. This is what I mean. This is what I be doing. I just talk about what I know. But yo, man, it's been a blessing. Everybody who's been here, thank y'all for joining today. And every week, New Music Wednesdays. You know how we get down, man.